So, in one of those wonderful moments over the Christmas holidays when you can't remember what day it is, I may have been scrolling on Facebook a little bit, and Facebook may have done its thing and sent me an advert for a company called Glowdip. Now, I bought this for £70 UK from their website, and because I'm getting a little bolder in my old age, I think, I sent them an email. I said, I'm making a review of your product on my YouTube channel. Is there any chance you could give me a discount code to pass on to my viewers? And so far, every time I have sent that sort of an email to a company, they've always said yes. So you can get £10 off this starter kit using my code, which I'll link down below. But before you buy it, you're going to want to have a look at it, aren't you? So this is a very lovely looking starter kit, and as you have probably already noticed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 powders as standard, which if you've had the starter kits from any of the other big companies available to the UK, you know that this is actually quite a good deal. And you've got all your liquids, base, activate, top coat, and the clean it bottle. We all love a cuticle pusher. Oh my God, I've got a million of these things. And we've also got a nice branded file and another sort of watershed test that I've come up with as to whether a kit is any good or not is the brush that they supply. And again, nice little bit of brand in there. And this, it's quite hard to describe. It's really, really lovely and soft, but because it's all so dense, it's going to be quite strong at getting all that excess dust off. We have got all the essentials, and you do get to pick your own colours as well. We will get to the nail table. We are going to do a full mani, but before I do that, I just wanted to show you the pots. They are a lovely decent size and plenty of room to get your whole finger in there. It's January, it's grey, it is absolutely freezing, and I am getting ready to go totally tropical with my nails to cheer myself up. And I think I am happy with this lineup. So green, yellow, the mid-yellow orange, orange, and then glitter here. So I am going to be using the instructions that come with the kit and sort of giving you my little hints and tips along the way. So the very first thing you want to do before you start is give yourself a nice 3-hour window. And I know 3 hours sounds like such a long time, but trust me, if you get to the 2-hour point and you're not 100% happy or you're not completely finished, then you're going to start rushing and then you're going to feel stressed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cupcake liners. Also, another tip is stand your pots in cupcake liners. It helps catch any drops, and when you're getting used to doing this, when you're getting used to putting your nails in the pots, you are probably going to knock a bit. Not essential, but does help. Right, let's keep these in order so I don't mess it up. Okay, so get your powder or powders ready. Make sure you've got your liquids within easy reach. Base coat, activator, top coat. I also like to have a bit of kitchen towel, or these are little cotton face cloths to hand, and get yourself an orange stick, or you can use the end of a cuticle pusher, or something that has a point is better, because as soon as you have dipped into the powder, you're going to start here and you're just going to gently run round the side walls and your cuticle line, and that is going to make a massive difference on how your nails look. And then wipe off the excess. You also want your brush to hand. So my nails are already prepped and ready to go. If you would like to see a video where I do my full prep routine and removal routine, drop a comment below and I will provide you with a link to that. And best practice is do not wash your hands with any sort of soap or oil for a good couple of hours before you're going to do your nails. You can rinse them with water, that's fine, but avoid soap, oils, hand cream, anything like that. And the last thing you're going to need is, for any glitters, you will need a clear dipping powder to put on top as your last coat, so that when you're filing down and shaping, you don't damage any of the glitter particles. It can make them go a bit silvery. Okay, let's have a look at this base coat. My first best tip is to wipe off, wipe off, wipe off. If I went back to the very first video I ever made on dip powder nails with a different brand, it was my very first attempt and I didn't wipe off the brush properly, and it was such a thick lumpy application, which is fine because you can file it down, but it is something really simple that makes a massive difference. So I always, just in little circle motions, go round on the inside. Try not to get any liquid on this top bit because you might end up sticking the lid to the bottle, and really get off as much as you can. And I always start with my baby finger and then work my way up, because, let's put that away actually, try to keep the lid on whenever you can. If you start here and then work your way to your thumb, you can use your thumb to help you pull back these side walls to get a neater application, which doesn't seem like much, but when you're doing your non-dominant hand, dominant hand, you know what I mean, when you're doing the hand that you're more shaky with, pulling back these side walls with the thumb is really, really helpful, and again just makes everything a bit neater, a bit nicer. Right, let's crack on. So we're going to start with our base coat. Apply a thin layer of base coat. The first coat should be quick and does not need to be too precise. Keep away from your cuticles and side walls. I also find it easier to start a little bit into the nail and then sort of push backwards towards that cuticle line. And then we're dipping in at a 45-degree angle. Just pause for a moment, tap, take your orange stick and just go around the side walls and that cuticle line and wipe off. And we're going to carry on this process, doing each nail individually until we've got one coat on each nail. Now, as you can see, there's little bits that I've missed that I've not quite caught, and that's fine because this is just your first layer. And something I love about the dip powder system is that it is so easy to sort out mistakes. Now, I give that just a moment to make sure that it's dry. While you're dipping, if you do see any bits that are shiny, just dip back into the powder, because there might be a little bit of excess liquid, so you want to get the powder on it. And then when you come to brush off, you won't get any powder or liquid on your brush. Okay, so we are one coat in, and on this next coat we're going to catch these little areas that we've missed. Now that you're painting directly onto colour, the next tip that I'm going to give you is before you put this brush back in your bottle, just give it a little wipe, and that's going to help prevent contaminating your liquids. Also, if you notice any little bits on your skin, try and get them off as quickly as you can, so cleanup's a lot easier. And my next tip, which is also really important, is capping the edge. So when you're getting to these last couple of layers, you want to make sure you are going round the free edge with your liquid so that the powder is sealing in that manicure. So there you can see that is looking a little bit chunky, and we'll put a layer of clear on top and then file it down, and I have caught all those bits that I'd missed, and we have capped the edge nicely. Capping that edge with powder so you can't see the edge of your natural nail. Now, I also do like to use a stiff nail brush. Again, this helps with making sure you don't contaminate your liquids and just gets off any excess. It's also good for getting it off your skin. Okay, so we are 4 layers in. I decided to do my final layer on all fingers in clear. You don't have to do this, and if you don't own clear, it doesn't matter. But apparently clear is slightly stronger than the coloured powders because it doesn't have the pigment in it, if that makes sense. So again, if you have problems with chipping or lifting, using a final coat of clear might help you out. And it's also something you should consider doing when you're using glitters, because it looks a bit better. Our next stage is Activator. And the Activator is really important as it seals all this together and makes it hard and gives you that acrylic nail feel, or what I like to call the clackety-clack. So what I do with this, oh, I need to get stronger, come on. Right, I will go into each nail, making sure you're getting the edges and giving it a really good coat. And I will go around each nail once and then twice. You need to leave it for 2 minutes to dry. And then after your 2 minutes, we are going to gently file, get rid of any lumps and bumps. And my top tip for this stage is you want the gentler side of your file, and don't press down too hard. I am quite heavy-handed and quite often overfile. If you do overfile and you end up with a little gap of colour, you can just go back to the beginning and re-dip. It's not a problem, you can sort it out. But I would hold the nail file like this, quite loosely in your hand, and kind of let the weight of the file do the job. Now, I always start at the back of the nail near the cuticle, 45-degree angle. We want to get this part nice and smooth, and this is going to help prevent lifting, because when you put your top coat on, you want the top coat to seal in the powder. So if you can see, I'm working my way round at a 45-degree angle, the side walls and the cuticle line, but just very lightly. I'm not putting too much pressure on. And you can see that this just creates a nice little dip, and then we can start going over the nail properly. And then I like to go over with a buffing block just to get a slightly smoother appearance. So we shall whiz through filing the other nails, and then we go back in with another layer of activator and again leave it to dry for 2 minutes. I have done my filing and my final layer of activate and waited 2 minutes. It doesn't say this in the instructions, but I like to give my hands a rinse with water and then just go over with a lint-free wipe to make sure they're dry. My next sort of tip, using your top coat, something that you might find happens at some point is the brush from your top coat may go hard while you're doing the final stage, and that, if I can get it out of the box, is what your brush saver is for. And I quite often see in Facebook groups people asking what this is and how to use it. Now, if you've waited 2 minutes and you've rinsed your hands, this shouldn't happen, but it still happens to me sometimes. I don't know, I'm impatient, I haven't done something properly. And all you need to do is take this brush and swap them over and then leave the contaminated one in the brush saver like overnight or sort of indefinitely, it doesn't matter. And then if this new one that you've put in here goes hard, then just swap them over again. And this kit does actually come with some spare brushes as well, because they kind of know it's probably going to happen to you at some stage, but it's not the end of the world. And I've had it happen to me with every brand of dip powder that I've bought, so it's not a big thing. Now, top coat. Again, in order to avoid this hard brush problem, and it does say this in their instructions actually, what we're going to do is 2 coats of top coat, and the first one, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? We're just going to go in fact, let's get one of these spare brushes. We're going to go in and it's literally going to be a 1, 2, 3 and away. And just leave it. It doesn't have to be perfect. The next layer of top coat, after you've waited for this one to dry for a couple of minutes, you're going to be a little bit more careful. You're going to make sure that you're sealing in the cuticle area, the side walls, and capping the free edge. But this first layer, you don't have to be too precious about. Oh my God, all these lids are on so tight. And again, just like we did with the base coat, make sure that you are wiping off. Now, the base coat and the top coat are exactly the same liquid. So if for some reason you lose one, you knock it over, you can use your top coat as a base coat and your base coat as a top coat temporarily, because you do want to keep these separate. Again, avoiding contamination. When you're using your base coat, you're going back onto painting the powder that hasn't been sealed. So you want to keep your top coat free from powder, free from contamination, so that you get the glossiest, nicest finish possible. 1, 2, 3. And we'll let that dry. And the next thing you definitely want to invest in is some cuticle oil. I have particularly dry, crusty hands anyway, so you want to make sure after all that prep and dipping and manipulating your fingers and all the rest of it that you are getting that moisture back in there. And that is how you do an absolutely gorgeous dip powder manicure at home. Now, the next video I'm going to make will be me removing this set and also doing a full prep routine. And obviously the more you do it, the quicker you'll get. If you've got any questions, please come to me in the comments. We also have a Discord group if you'd like to join it. We chat about all sorts of rubbish in there, not just nails. And please consider subscribing if you like my content, and like the video because that's the kind of thing that YouTube likes. See you on the next video. Bye!